Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round two of Zealous Racing's League's Season 8. My name is Shim. I'm going to be your broadcaster tonight through this 45-minute race at Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. For those of you who are familiar with this circuit, you know how difficult and challenging it can be. This is going to be a tough race, but only 45 minutes, but we'll see what it has in store for our drivers. Something of note, this is actually our driver's choice race of the year. Or of this season. Something new that we did this season is give the drivers one track that they can choose. And lo and behold, I don't know why, must have some masochists here at the in the Zealous Racing League, but they chose to conquer the mountain and they chose to go to Bathurst. Now, this is a very, very tricky circuit, known for its uphill downhill section going through the mountain. And today we're going to be seeing who is crowned king of this mountain. After round one, our leader in the points is our current practice pole sitter, which is KP, Kenneth Portis, driving that Honda NSX. And Zhang is coming in close behind him. Zhang scored second place in our race last week at Spa-Francorchamps. This season of ZRL is only 7 races long, but we are including all of the new tracks that were added in the American DLC. So we've got Watkins Glen, we've got the Indy Road Course, and we have Circuit of the Americas on the calendar for this season. But we aren't there yet, and we weren't there last week. We are in Australia as we watch Matt Fender, go downhill here with that Audi, going into the S's down the hill, and trying to just get warmed up, setting some practice laps here, just trying to see where he'll stack up with the field. Like I mentioned, this will be a 45-minute race, no mandatory pit stops. We do have 15 minutes of qualifying that will be going ahead of the race itself. So before the race starts, we'll do those 15 minutes to see how our grid will be set. And then after that, we will go into the race. Another thing to note is that we have not had our 2 rain races yet this year. ZRL does have a rain mercy rule where if 2 races in a season are a rain race or a rain session, we will be dry after those 2 sessions. So if we do end up seeing rain today, which is a possibility, it will be our first of the season. I know some drivers out there saying that they have only practiced this circuit in the rain with hopes that it will be raining. I know that my first season of ZRL, actually my first race in ZRL back last year, was at Mount Panorama, and I was driving the McLaren 720S, and it was a rain race. So it should be interesting to see if we can get one here today too. That was actually an incredibly fun race because not only was it a rain race, but it didn't start that way. So the first 20 minutes or so of the race was actually dry, and then it started raining, and then with about 15 to 20 minutes left in the race, it stopped. So it was just enough rain for there to be wet tires out on the track, but not enough rain that it lasted the whole race, and it actually did dry up at the end. So that was a incredibly fun race, a very challenging race, lots of unique strategies that went on during that race as well. So I'm kind of hoping a little bit for the rain, just in case that there is anyone who wants to try out some fun strategies, some interesting new strategies here. That's one of my favorite parts about racing is the strategy for pit stops because it really throws into the air what can happen with these drivers and what the final end product of the race will be. So far into the server, we have 25 different drivers, which isn't as many as last week, but is still quite a respectable grid. Quite a few drivers out there driving this new Audi that just came out. We also have a couple drivers like JJ Burr, who is in that BMW M4. We have Justin Friesen, who's in the pits. We have a couple of Ferraris. We have an NSX, a Honda NSX out there, driven by KP. We also have another driver out in this season who also is driving the Honda NSX, but doesn't seem to be in the server just yet. So that should be interesting to see if we get him here. Calvin Wolf there, one of our ZRL drivers. He's racing in that McLaren 720S. Quite a beautiful car. Got to see one of these in real life. My wife thought it was a pretty thick car with a few C's. And we also have a couple Porsches out there driven by the likes of Todd Cromer and Ricardo Scapinello, who, let's make sure our camera can get him here, as Scapinello goes down the S, is a little bit shaky with his practice there. But as we go through a lap here at Mount Panorama, let's follow James Turnbull and Santello here as they go out on a lap, and let's just map out a lap here at Mount Panorama. So as we go down the mountain straight here, Turnbull goes up the pretty quick quarry right-hander. Can take that in about third gear. Heavy braking zone uphill. The hill will help the braking. As you go into this pretty fast left-hander into a nice hairpin up the hill. Very steep. Want to get as much traction out of that as possible. Now we go into the long flowing section of the mountain itself. Going down Frog Hollow into the vista. As we go, take another sweeping left into Skyline. Beautiful Skyline. Ooh, Turnbull just biffs it there as he goes into the S's. See if he's going to keep going. He's not. After that, he'd go into Forest Elbow, down the Conrad Straight, into the chase, ending at Murray's Corner. I see we have some support in the chat for my friend and runner in the series, Friesen. He told me I have permission to roast him today, so I'm really looking forward to that. I have mentioned that I will be roasting him today, so let's see how much I can get out in one race. Only 45 minutes, so we'll see what I can do. Free practice just ended, so we're just waiting for that cooldown time as the last few drivers here go on their hot lap. Drivers such as, let's see if I can find him here, Chris Rise, another Audi driver. Maybe we can follow him. But Chris Rise going in that Audi had a very respectable finish last week. Chris is a newcomer to Zealous Racing League, but showing up quite well. I'm actually a little bit bummed. I think I could have some good racing with Chris if I was racing, but they got me strapped to the booth here, so can't really get my wheel out and start driving. But that's no issue. I volunteered for this, so it's all good. As Chris goes down the S's here, down the hill. And as he goes down, this is a heavy braking zone. Want to get that car rotated into Forest Elbow and that little like hairpin there. As he goes down the long straight, longest straight on this circuit, I should say. Repping that beautiful Audi. As he comes down the hill into that sweeping right-hander into a heavy braking zone of the chase. That's going to be a key action point of this race. A lot of overtaking can happen there. As he comes up to the last corner, a 90-degree right-hand turn, or I should say left-hand turn, and over the start-finish line. And that ends our practice session. As the server gets itself in order here, we have 26 drivers now on the field going in for their qualifying laps. Let's see which of these drivers are going to be getting out first here. So we go to the Helicam, watching driver 84 of Kenneth Portis. As always, he's first out of the gate here for qualifying. And if last week is any indication, he is our favorite to win tonight as well. Not only that, but he is in that NSX, which is proven to be absolutely rapid at fast tracks like this with long straights, similar to Spa actually. Spa is a really good track for the NSX, and so is Bathurst. That long straight really brings out the best in the NSX due to its very above average straight line speed performance. We'll follow KP here as he goes on his first lap. Um, I think I followed him last week as well on the first lap, but since he's out first, he gets the honors. I think that's something I might do here. Have the first driver out there, he or she is going to be the one I follow. Let's go into the cockpit cam here and follow KP on his first lap as he comes down the straight here, flat out braking into third, second gear, takes it nice and easy. I know he's going to do that faster on the fast lap. Trying to get as much speed, hopefully getting into fifth gear here. Gonna top out at fourth, get a good exit, and here starts his first fast lap. As we go down the start finish straight, which is actually pretty small, we got another 90-degree left-hand turn as we go down the mountain straight here. As you can see in the distance, the mountain of Mount Panorama looming in the distance. A lot of straights at this circuit, but the straights, the straights are usually where a lot of the action would happen on this circuit. Up the mountain and down the mountain, it gets pretty precarious even for a solo driver. Even when fast lapping, these walls are incredibly deadly. And it's going to be taking all of the driver's focus and determination and skill to be able to stay out of those barriers while setting respectable times. Like I mentioned, probably not going to see a lot of action up the hill and down the hill. Might see some action at the top of the hill here as he comes over to the Vista and Skyline, braking down into the S's. Want to get nice and slow there, hug that corner as much as possible, get as much speed as possible, hugging there and braking first gear, get as much rotation in as possible. Want to get as close to that right wall in Forest Elbow as close as possible. And then down the Conrad Straight as we head into the chase. Going as fast as possibly can, braking as late as you can. Into second. Want to get as much speed as possible. Probably still trying to warm up those tires a little bit. I think he can go faster. As he goes down into the last turn here, braking, want to get into second gear, get turned in power as early as possible. And KP sets a quite fast time of 2:02.6. Let's follow some of our other drivers behind him as they go. Going back into our TV cam read, only 8 tenths behind him. Zhang only 2 tenths behind him. It's going to be some close battles between Zhang, Reed, and Portis here. I can see some good battles between Zhang and Portis. Last week at Spa, they were the two front runners. Really just drove away as fast as they could from the pack, and could put quite a respectable distance between them uh, by the time the pit stops were happening. About halfway through that race. And it almost looked like Zhang would catch up in that latter half of the race. Ooh, Zhang hits that outer wall there. It's going to leave a little bit of a scuff on his car. As we look at some of the times here, those first three racers really pretty close to each other. Zhang opting to go to the pits, repair his car, and go back out. All right, let's take a look at some other drivers. Afonso in that Porsche. Might be good on the mountain, but it's a tricky car. Not so good in the straights. As Alfonso goes into the skyline, heavy braking down the hill. Looking nice and clean, a little bit deep, but okay, so clean so far, clean so far. A lot of our drivers, though, are quite a ways off of our pole sitter Portis right now. Tuda, who is P4, is almost 2 seconds behind. We've got some love in the chat for 28, which is the guy I'm supposed to be roasting, uh, Justin Friesen in the Knucklehead Racing Ferrari. Come on, Justin, I know you're faster than this on this track, but to be honest, I know you were practicing all this week and you were biffing it into the walls all the time. You gonna do it today too? I wonder. I don't know. I'm thinking you might. Just kidding. I hope you don't. Hope he stays clean. Hoping for a good performance. Ooh, gets a little bit squirrely there, it seems like. Maybe a little bit of oversteer going into that turn. But like I said, I know he can do better than this. He's going pretty slow right now. As we watch his lap, we'll just finish it out here as he goes down the S's. So we watch the helicam as he goes into Forest Elbow here. And the hairpin down the hill, close to the wall as possible, as he winds up for the Conrad Straight, longest straight on the circuit. Absolutely rapid up the hill. At this point, the car's pretty much already maxed out, pretty close at least. Taking a wide line into the right-hander, braking into the chase. Nice and clean there. Looking good. Can you do it? We'll see. Portis does pull a faster lap there, with Tuda getting a faster lap as well, putting himself into P3. Friesen setting a faster lap. P6 currently with a pretty decent gap between him and the P7 Story, about 3/10 behind him. See, I knew he had it in him. I knew he did. Like I said, I've raced with Friesen before, and I know he's rapid, especially in that Ferrari. It's a good car for him. Portis now in the pits while Zhang is out trying to set a faster lap after having a little bit of an incident there. Fender pulling uh, let's see what it is, 2-minute 03.8. That's a pretty great lap for Fender. He's going to be really happy with that. Looks like he put in quite a bit of time practicing. Great lap by him. Fender, a longtime racer of Zealous. Let's just go down the list and share who we have racing with us. Already shown off Kenneth Portis, or KP for short, one of the ZRL admins, and was the previous race director, the steward. We got Zhang, who is a newcomer to Zealous, showing to be pretty rapid. Definitely pretty close to Portis in terms to speed. So we'll see if Zhang can make an impact here. Hopefully pull out a win. Let's see if see what he has in him. There you have Matthias Tuda racing into the Brazil V10 gang Audi. Matthew Reed, another longtime ZRL racer, always racing in that Lamborghini. Got JJ Burr, another pretty big staple for ZRL leagues in the BMW this season. I gotta say, I know a lot of people don't like the look of this BMW, but for me, I don't know, something just clicks with it. I love the look, and for newcomers and veterans alike, this car, you can't deny, is quick and is very stable, easy to drive, and very fun. Uh, gave some love to Matt Fender there for pulling out P6. Justin Friesen, already roasted him enough. Let's get the screen off him. Got James Turnbull, who just set a faster lap. He was about 3 seconds, 4 seconds behind, now in P8. Jeremy Story in the McLaren, Jimmy Olsen in the Audi, Todd Cromer, or Cormer, I should say, in the Porsche, Andre Alfonso in the Porsche, Christopher Flores in the McLaren, Fabiano Candido in the Bentley, only driver in the Bentley as far as I'm aware, in that big beast, the Bentley. Christian Landry racing in that BMW. Calvin Wolf, a ZRL admin. He is currently running in P16 in that McLaren. Chris Rise, P17 right now, racing in the Audi. Kevin Yu racing in the McLaren. Yu just set a faster lap there, putting himself into P11. We got Thygo, Aven, Asvedo. I'm gonna make sure I get these names right. Oh, Pitch in the chat. Pitch is one of our racers. He's missing it for work. Who needs work? Just kidding. Everyone needs work. But sorry to hear that, Pitch. Wish I could see that that Nissan out there. Pitch is in that Nissan this season. A long-time runner for I shouldn't say long time, but a veteran of ZRL leagues and friend Glenn Pino in the Mercedes-Benz, only driver in the Mercedes this season. We have 2 minutes 30 seconds left in qualifying. Glenn, also known as the Old Canadian Racer. And then we have JP Bellinger in the McLaren, Sean Dudzik in the BMW, Riccardo Scapanello in the Porsche, Nick Wyatt in the Audi, Anthony Camacho in the BMW, and I don't believe I mentioned Michael Santello in the Ferrari. Like I said, 2 minutes left of the race, and I just realized I don't have sound for the race. Something I will fix real quickly here. There we go. Get some sound in there so you can hear these beautiful engines as they go down Mount Panorama. And just so you guys know, I am still kind of new to this whole broadcasting thing, so I do apologize if there are any hiccups, any issues. Like I said, I'm still getting used to this. I've only been doing this for 3 races, so cut me some slack. I'm doing my best here. Like I mentioned, I'm pretty new to this. I only started racing with Zealous about a year ago, and when they offered up a position for the broadcaster, I volunteered, and here I am now. So really trying to promote this great racing league, Zealous Racing League, and the ZADs Galaxy Tour that they run. Like I said, they've been doing this for 8 seasons, been a seasons of gentleman racing for these people. Gentleman racing in that we just try to keep it as clean as possible. We have points and everything. We're driving for points, but it's all for bragging rights. All of this stuff is free. We're just trying to provide good, clean league racing for our ZRL members. And that's really what it's all about. We're here to have fun. We're here to share our love of motorsports. And if you're interested in joining our community, please follow us on our social medias. We got links in our YouTube page. On our YouTube page to Twitter and Facebook. I just actually found that out today. But if you're on those websites, do feel free to give us a follow to get up-to-date information on what we're doing. And if you're interested in joining the community even further, we have a link to our Discord also within the YouTube page, and that's where you can get the most up-to-date news on our leagues. And if you're interested or you're new to sim racing, interested in getting involved in leagues, that's what that Discord server is there for. We're there to provide any help we can and to provide a fun relaxed community where we can all share our love for motorsports. I know probably my most active thing in ZRL is just memeing with all these guys about Formula One and other racing disciplines. So um, even if you're not a sim racer, come join the community, share it with your friends who might be interested, share it with your family, and get involved in our community. Time is up, but we do have some people on flying laps. Portis is one of them. Zhang is one of them. Tada is one of them. Reed is not. JJ Burr is, though. Looks like Zhang's going to actually bail out of this lap. But Burr thinks he can get one faster. Another note here is Friesen got back the P6. So good for him. Anyone else out there making runs? We'll just follow Portis as he comes by his final lap. Portis, I think, is following the number 46 of Landry right now. Going absolutely rapid in that NSX. Breaking into the last turn. See if he can do one better. Doesn't really need to. He's got that P1 solidified, but does go faster. My goodness, KP, that is absolutely dirty. 1 second ahead of everyone in the field. Portis in that NSX. I think we ought to give him about everyone else's weight as in ballast in that car. All right, we'll push drive here. So go into the race session. Like I said, 45 minutes of racing, no mandatory pit stops. Should be some great racing here as we gear up. Our drivers make their last minute changes for tire pressures, fuel load. Like I said, they don't have to make any strategy changes here, or they don't have to make any pit stops, I should say. And looking at the forecast, looks to be all dry for our race here at Mount Panorama. So our drivers prepare to get ready for the start. Our starting order, our top 10 starting order is Kenneth Portis in P1, Zhang in P2, Tada in P3, Reed in P4, Burr P5, Friesen P6, Fender P7, Yu P8, Turnbull P9, and Afonso in P10. We're going to have to watch out on this first lap. Like I mentioned, those walls are absolutely treacherous going up and down the mountain as well as on top. I predict that we're probably going to have more incidences with just individual drivers hitting the wall, maybe causing bigger incidents than anything else at this during this race. Like I mentioned, those walls are so treacherous. One false move and your race could be over. So it's going to be paramount for our drivers to be as safe as they possibly can. And as we go into the start of the race, we're going to be following some of our front runners, but a little bit further back so we can get a good look at the start of the field. For all those in chat, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to share your love for your favorite drivers out there. I see we have some love out there for Santello, as well as some fans for Friesen, but I don't know. He already thinks he's cool enough. We won't give him much screen time, I think. Also, he's known to be pretty poor on starts. He's even admitted that himself to me, so let's see how many positions he loses on the startup. If he loses any at all, I don't know. I should really be easy on her. Slim's a pretty fast racer, a good guy. 4 seconds left until we start the race. Make sure everyone presses start. Looks like everyone has. Rolling start here. No warm-up lap. We're just starting right here, and it's going to be pretty quick. As drivers get ready, hopefully nobody gets any start penalties for going too fast on the start. So we get a look at the field here. Some very colorful, beautiful looking liveries out there. As we go into the start of the race, green, 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 we are go for racing. Portis on the inside here. Zhang braking early and gets tipped by Reed. Zhang a little bit early there for the braking. Oh my goodness. I wonder if there's going to be a restart there. I don't know. I don't know how many cars got caught up there, but Zhang looks to be one of the few. Started P2. That's like the end of his race. He's going to be absolutely gutted. I will say though, he broke incredibly early, and maybe didn't give Reed enough time to react. I don't know. Reed might have been a little bit too close there too. Reed in P5. Turnbull was able to get quite a good start up in P4 now. Friesen down to P8. Told you he'd be losing some positions. Fender made a massive move in the first few moments of this race, racing P3 right now, far above his class, but good for him. Portis now well in front, already 2 seconds ahead of Tutta as they go down the hill on the first lap. Zhang is trying to catch up there. I don't think there's too much damage, I hope. Glenn Pino also demoted down into last place. Hopefully he can keep it nice and clean going down the hill. Looks like we have some, shaky drivers here in the back. Hopefully they can keep it clean. A little bit wide into those turns on the S's. As most of our drivers now are up through the Conrad Straight into the chase. I'll hit the wall a little bit, Pino there, but now well into the chase is Portis with Tutta behind him. Fender, Turnbull, Story, Reed, Friesen. Friesen made up that spot against Jimmy Olsen. We got a car off. Looks to be Story in that McLaren. As Reed is promoted up into P5. Some tight battles between Story and Friesen here. We also got Olsen in that Audi right behind him as they keep it hopefully clean. Olsen's trying to find a place to make a move. And we've got another incident here between Olsen and Story. Kind of cuts Olsen off there. Should have given him more room, I think. Another driver that's been moved up is Chris Rise. This is kind of an exciting lap, but a lot of incidences here between drivers. We'll have to see how the stewards are going to be looking at that. Going to be quite a few penalties, I think. A couple racing incidents as well. We already have JP Bellinger in the pits, as well as Glenn Pino. Looks like he's got some damage on that Mercedes. Chris Rise up into P7 now, with Friesen right in front of him. Made a move, it looks like, against JJ Burr. Oh, I know what he did. He made the move on Olsen and Story there as they made some mistakes. Portis is now well ahead, 2-second gap to Tutta, who uses a bit of that runoff there. Good, keeping it clean. Not good to have off tracks, but keeping it clean. And we got Fender right behind, getting pressure from Turnbull already though. Turnbull only 0.8 behind. We've got some tight racing here between Rise, Burr, Flores, Wolf. Wolf also not having the greatest of qualifying positions, but is right up there in P10 now with you in P11. Driver that's made some backtracking here is Afonso in that Porsche. Now in P15 after starting P10. Let's watch Chris Rise here as he's getting pressure from Burr going into the chase. See if Burr's going to make a move here. It's a little bit far back, but nope, not going to make that move. Smart move. Another thing to watch back there is Flores, or I should say you, and this gaggle of drivers as looks like Candido goes off the track there a little bit as Flores, or I should say you, is going into the pits. Promoting Cromer up into P11. Zhang back up into P22 after that first lap incident. And we've got some close battles between Chris Rise and JJ Burr here as they go into the Mountain Straight. Burr clocking in only 0.3 behind Rise in the last time section, in the last sector. Close driving here between Landry and Candido behind. Actually, looks like Alfonso is right behind him. Or actually, that is, I think, maybe Scapanello. So maybe a lapped car behind him. Nope, that is Alfonso. Landry trying to keep it clean between Alfonso and Story, getting in close to Alfonso there. Some close battling in the mountain here. Gonna have to keep it clean. As we have an incident, number 18 into the wall. The 18 of Sean Dudzik. He's going to be going into the pits here. Pino with a stop-go 30, probably for speeding in the pits. Too bad. That's really too bad to see. Those are always the worst, especially when you already have damage. Some close driving, like I said, here between Rise and Burr. As they go into the mountain, or Conrad Strait, leading into the chase. Let's see if Burr decides to make a move here. I don't think he's close enough. Rise just able to squeeze out a little bit of space on those slow sections. Audi known for being pretty limber through a lot of those turns. Following some other drivers, we have Turnbull feeling a little bit of pressure from Reed. Reed only 6/10 behind. And Fender still holding his own against Turnbull and Reed. Let's move over to Flores and the group coming down the straight here. Wolf right in front. That's a great start for Wolf in that McLaren 720S. Don't remember where he started, but I believe it was somewhere near P16 as Cromer tries to make a move up into the right-hander. And he does. Cromer, nice clean move on Flores. A lot of respect between the drivers there. But Flores looks to have gotten a little better run. I don't think he's got the space or time to make that move, though. Let's go into the hairpin left up the hill. Olsen back up into P16 and Zhang back up into P19 after the lap 1 incident. As we keep going here, this is some close racing between these guys. As we have an incident, car 21, Chris Rise. Oh no, looks like he had an incident on the mountain and he is back into the pits. Going to have to make some repairs on that Audi. After running so well there, going to promote JJ Burr into 7th place. And everyone behind him is going to get 1 lap better and 1 position better. Turnbull and Reed, the battle is heating up here between these 3 drivers as we go into the chase. Reed, getting awfully close to Turnbull, but Reed's got the inside line going into the chase. Over the curb, but Turnbull looks like he might eke out. Reed's a little bit ahead, though, going into the final turn. Absolutely brilliant racing between these two. See if Reed can break a little later. He's got the inside line going into the final turn. And he does hold it, but it's still close. That's giving Friesen time to catch up here as well, as Reed just gets ahead and stays ahead there, ahead of Turnbull. That's a good move from Reed there on the outside going into the chase. Like I mentioned, that gives Friesen a chance to catch up as well, as Turnbull looking on the inside up the mountain straight into this turn 3 here. I should say turn 2. Gets a nice line, but it's not enough. Not enough room to make that move. Oh my goodness, this is some great race. What's going to happen here? Friesen trying to stick with him. Burn not too far behind. Far enough that they don't have to worry just yet. Olsen up into P14. Zhang to P17 now. Tada just had the fastest lap. Is only 2 seconds behind Portis. Fastest lap of this session so far is 2-minute 03.4 by Tada. Just a half of a tenth ahead of KP's fastest lap in that Honda. Wonder if KP's maybe having a little bit of trouble. The 46 car is also in the pits right now. That is Christian Landry, I should say. This is going to be an also awesome move by Zhang here, already into P16 after that lap 1 incident. See, he's got a little bit of damage on the back of that car and maybe a little bit of damage on the front of that car as well, but he's holding his own and making moves where he can. Pino in the pits, he's probably serving his stop-go, 32nd for speeding in the pits after some lap 1 damage. But looks like he's back. Just going to be trying to have a clean race from here and make up as many positions as he can. Following the podium here, the last spot in the podium, we've got Fender, after making quite an amazing move at the start of this race, up into P3. Reed is awfully close behind him, though, going into the mountain straight after turn 1. Second longest straight of this circuit. I think Reed might be a little bit too far behind him to make a move, and indeed he is. Fender just trying to keep it clean. Kenneth Portis setting the fastest lap, a 10th ahead of Tutta's. 2 minutes, 3 seconds, 0.3. Looking at the rest of the race here, this is truly where the action is here in the top 10. And especially in this fight for P3 between Reed. Oh, as Dudzik goes into the wall, he's going to need to keep it clean so he doesn't run into anyone. As Dudzik is into the wall, making sure to keep it clean. And Dudzik is now stopped. That is a dangerous space for him to be. He needs to get out of there ASAP. And let's watch Fender and Reed and Turnbull and Friesen and even Burr behind him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 racing here. I don't know who to watch. It's just so exciting. As Reed getting the run, hoping to make a move into the chase here. As well as Friesen and Reed. Friesen and Burr, I mean, maybe trying to make a move as well. Reed not getting enough space, and neither are the guys behind him. A lot of action. Reed just trying to find a little bit of a room there, poking his nose on the outside, maybe trying to get a little better run into the main straight, forcing Fender to be a little bit more defensive. Fender holding his own, though. Great racing by him today. As he goes a little bit narrow, probably not going to get as good of a run as Reed there into Mountain. Portis now having a 8-second gap. 2 Tutta behind. Those two well ahead of P3 in the battle back here. Something of note, JJ Burr just took P6 from Justin Friesen. As their battle ensues as well. Let's take a look at these guys back here. Burr, Friesen, Turnbull. Another battle to watch might be Candido and Alfonso. Bentley versus Porsche. JJ Burr getting a little bit squirrely on the exit there into the Skyline. Down the hill into the S's. A little bit of damage on the back. Looks like some scuffs on the back of JJ Burr's car. So we go down the hill. Not going to be making any moves here, but might be able to set something up going down into the Dipper and Forest Elbow. Looks like everything's holding here with Fender fending off Reed there for P3. Reed only about a half a tenth behind, though. So go into the chase. No moves just yet. Reed not able to make any impact there as well. Friesen trying to keep up with these two. Hoping to make a move where he can. Looks like Friesen's car is free of damage, though, too, so that's good to note. At least as free of damage as I can see. Let's watch JJ Burr in the cockpit as he goes late into the braking here and makes the move. Also allows Friesen to get in on Turnbull there, making a double move. Excellent move there, braking a little late on the inside. Easy to do that here. Let's watch this battle between Friesen and Turnbull, though. Turnbull trying to go on the inside. Not going to make that, though. See, that's the tricky thing about this here. If you aren't careful... Oh, another move was made. It looks like Reed just took P3 from Fender. But that's what you got to watch for on this circuit. If you're not careful, you could get a double move made on you going into some of these 90-degree turns and even into the chase. Critical action points. Friesen back up into P6, Burr P5. Fender riding at P4. Even if he finishes there, that's going to be a great performance for him. Another one of note, we've got Jimmy Olsen in P14 still, with Zhang close behind, making it back up into P15 from his first lap. A little shunt there. Another thing to note, Zhang's fastest lap so far is a 2:04.3, which puts him right about on pace with our P3 and P5 sitters. For as long as he was in front, Matt Fender really isn't running the fastest of laps, but he was just able to stay ahead and make it trouble for the drivers behind him. As we go into 28 minutes left in this race. You can see Zhang's got quite a bit of damage on the front of that car and the sides. A lot of scuffs. But I think pretty soon here he's going to try to make this move on Olsen. We'll see if Olsen puts up any fight. Doesn't look like he's trying to. I think Olsen knows that Zhang's faster than him. Might just try to give up the move and maintain his stability. Another driver that we should be watching here is Calvin Wolf. One of our ZRL admins running in P8, doing a great job there in that zealous livery. McLaren. Fender is feeling the pressure, though, I will say. As we go up the hill, Fender's feeling that pressure from JJ Burr behind him. And pretty soon, I imagine Friesen's going to be trying to make a move as well. As we go down the hill, see if Fender can hold. Not going to be making any moves here in the downhill section. But just trying to get the best exit as possible. Going into... Oh! Gets a little squirrely. Makes Burr go squirrely as well. It looks like Burr's got a little bit better of a run. And I think he's going to make this move. Friesen coming in close behind. Seeing if he can squeak in as well. Burr not able to keep up with that Audi, though, and has to tuck in, get a bit of that slipstream, going narrow into the chase, all keeping it nice and single file into the chase, going down into the last final turn. See what Burr's going to do, maybe trying to peek out. Nope, keeping it clean, not ready to make the move just yet. Got some close racing here. Everyone keeping it nice and clean so far. Something to note also, we've got Turnbull in P7 and Wolf is closing in fast. Was about 2 seconds behind, not only 1.3. Looks like Wolf's fastest laps are quite a bit faster than Turnbull's as well. Almost over a half a second faster too. Previous lap was, again, a half a second faster between Turnbull and Wolf, so that's going to be closing up into an action area here soon. Battle for these top 10 positions is awfully close, seeing who can secure the most points that they possibly can. As we go into the mountain section here on the top. Looks like Burr got a little squirrely. Now 9/10 behind, down into the braking zone. Burr a lot more confident in his BMW there. Excellent racing between these guys. Want to make sure to keep this action. Another thing to note, Friesen dropped back quite a bit that lap. Maybe had a little bit of an incident, not sure what, but now is almost a half a second back of these guys fighting here as JJ Burr trying to pull a move on the inside, going into the chase. Not able to squeak out the high speed, or the top speed, I should say, and not able to make the move either. Wonder if the damage is hindering his top speed there. See the damage on the front of JJ Burr's BMW. Wonder if that's slowing him down. This is a track where any of that aero damage can really make a difference when it comes to your performance in the race. With those two very long straights, longer than normal, it makes it quite difficult to keep up if you've got damage. Another thing to note here too is Tada has somebody behind him, and it looks like it's a lapped car, with Reed 5 seconds back. I think Reed's been making small dents on Tada though. Tada hasn't been running the greatest laps. I wonder if he's dealing with some backmarker issues here. With the 44 car, or I should say the 444 car of Bellinger. Kind of in between everyone there, and Dudzik as well. Dudzik already having a few incidences tonight. Oh, something to note, Calvin Wolf. Calvin Wolf in the pits currently. Wonder if there is a pit stop. Doesn't look like there's any damage on his car. I wonder what happened there. As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I am aware, if I look at the briefings here, don't believe we have a mandatory pit stop. Maybe he had a little bit of an issue. Maybe he had a little bit of an issue there. Down the mountain. Something that we missed there, JJ Burr was able to pull the move on Matt Fender, with Friesen now closing in close behind Fender. Let's see when he's going to make the move. This is for P5. Like I said, I think Fender is going to be happy with whatever he is given here, noting that he qualified higher up in the order. I want to say he qualified P9, 10 or something like that. Now P5. Looks like he's been getting a little bit nervous, a little bit squirrely on the last few laps, running a 2:07 the last lap. Friesen making a look on the inside. Don't think he's going to have the space to make that stick, though. As we turn in to the uphill section, Dudzik going to need to get out of the way. He's going to be slowing people down there. So go up the hill. We don't have any blue flag rules for ZRL, but Dudzik is our last place racer and is going to need to pull over to the side here sometime soon to let those drivers by. Dudzik only on lap 6, everyone else running on their 12th lap. Definitely should be getting out of the way here shortly. Friesen still looking to make that move. All this fighting has allowed the 203 car of Turnbull to catch up slightly. Looking back in the order, Zhang is currently racing. Zhang is currently racing in P11 after that lap 1 incident. Dudzik being the gentleman, letting everyone pass down the straight. It's a good move there. Friesen hoping to get the run here through the chase. Don't think he's going to have enough speed to make it stick. Fender getting a much better exit. These cars may have some similar characteristics, being both mid-engine cars. The pit stop of Wolf has allowed some other drivers to um, make their way into. Oh, we've got the 999 car of Andre Alfonso into the dirt. His car is looking rough right now. Best thing for him to do is to pull over, and he needs to pull over and stop that car. We'll keep on watching some of our fast runners here. As we look, we have some drivers dropping back. Olsen was able to make a move on Zhang. Looks like Zhang has gotten even more damage on his car there. I wonder if he gotten into a little bit of a scuffle with one of the back markers. More and more damage is getting on that Ferrari. So we watch Fender and Friesen duke it out here. I don't want to miss this. I've missed too many action points here as they go on to lap Bellinger. A lot of lap cars in this race. I think we're going to need to call out something to that 999 car of Afonso. He needs to get into the pits soon. He is a danger to everyone else on track in his current state, and there he goes, making that move. As we continue to watch Fender and Friesen battling up the straight here. Problem is, a lot of these drivers are getting into back markers going down the mountain straight just because that's such a good place to pass back markers. But that's not allowing for easy passes between the people who are racing for spots here. Like I mentioned, you know, this is a dangerous track. We have a lot of cars being lapped. So if you're not on the lead lap, that may not be the end of the world. You might still be able to squeak out a few points, a few places, just from cars getting a little bit squirrely on the mountain and making wrecks. As Friesen, still running P6, hasn't been able to make the move on Fender. The fastest lap between these guys is actually pretty close, so these guys might be racing in the same caliber right now. As they go up the hill into the hairpin. Fender able to hold out. Turnbull now getting close behind, with Cromer getting some getting closer and closer just because of the battling here. I do have some clean air in front of them. The car in front is currently a lapped car, I believe. Actually, no, the car in front of them is the next car in the order, JJ Burr. Also looks like Tuda is dropping off a little bit to Reed behind. Reed now only 2 seconds behind of Tuda. It's amazing, but this race does really turn into who can survive the longest. Survival is key, and now that they don't have any back markers, I wonder if Friesen can make a move here. I don't think he's going to have enough top speed, but maybe if he tucks into that slipstream just enough, he can poke his nose, goes, very wide, hoping to brake a little later, gain some more speed, take some more speed into the chase here. And these cars are very close, within a half a second. 5/10 going into the start-finish straight here. 88 of Tuda is struggling, now only 2 seconds instead of 2.6 seconds behind, or ahead of Reed. We're going to have to watch that here soon. Looks like Zhang still holding P12. Looks like his lap times have dropped off quite substantially since some of his incidences. But as of right now, all up to driver, all up to the driver in, let's see, who is on the lead lap here? We've got some people in the pits. Looks like we don't have too many drivers still on the lead lap. Fender holding out so far. We have 15 minutes left in this race at Mount Panorama. So far, it looks like our championship points leader, KP, is going to be crowned the king of the mountain unless anything major happens in his race. You never know what can happen. Still a lot of racing left to go, but thank you all for joining us tonight. Hope you're enjoying our racing. This is the ZADs Galaxy Tour Season 8, and this is round 2. Like I mentioned, we have 7 tracks on the calendar for this season, 3 of which being the new American Track Pack DLC tracks of Watkins Glen, Indy Road Course, and Circuit of the Americas. I gotta say, those new tracks are quite fun to drive. Was really surprised with how fun Indy is to drive. It's a little bit different of a layout than I'm used to in different sims, but it is quite fun, and I have to say Watkins Glen is truly one of the great American tracks. I am partial to Road America. I really wish Road America was there, but I can't really complain with the quality of Watkins Glen's depiction here in this game. It's truly magnificent, and if you haven't raced it yet, if you don't have the track pack, I strongly encourage it. Literally the best version of these tracks that you'll ever see. I raced at Watkins for about 3 hours the other day with some of these drivers, with Glenn and with Slim Friesen there, Justin Friesen, and just had an absolute blast. Something to watch here. Tutta is feeling the pressure now of Matthew Reed. Looks like Tutta has some damage on the back of that Audi. I wonder if that's hindering. Maybe some of his tires are giving out a little bit as well, and he definitely has damage in the front. That is hampering his times. I know for a fact it is. As Reed hopes to make a move here, looks like Reed's Lamborghini doesn't appear to have any damage on it, and JJ Burr actually close behind. Now, only a second, I would say, maybe 2 seconds behind. He is 1.6, it shows. Could be some good battling here, but I don't think Tutta's going to be able to hold this out. His top speed is absolutely decimated by that damage out in the front. He is not going to be able to hold against Reed here. It's just a matter of time. You can see the hood of that Audi, and here it goes. Reed on the inside, not able to get the move there after going on the inside and braking late. But this is definitely where something can happen. JJ Berg coming in close behind, hoping to make that move on Tutta. Down the mountain straight. So much more top speed from Reed there. You can see it. Even though you're not side by side, you can see the speed difference between those two cars. And JJ Burr now close behind as we watch Tutta hoping to hold out. Again, I don't believe there's much damage on Burr's car either, at least none that's affecting his aerodynamics and his top speed. Looks like it's only a matter of time, too, before Tutta gets demoted down to P4. And with the speeds that they've been going, Burr might be able to catch up and battle with Reed for that podium position of P2. Right now, we're seeing the battle for the last podium spot with 10 minutes left in the race. Kenneth Portis, our leader, well ahead of the rest of the pack. I really think we're going to have to make him switch cars next season. I think petition the ZRL admins that Portis has to drive a car different than the Honda NSX next season. I think that'd be really interesting to see how he adapts to that. So far, Tada is able to hold out. It looks like there has been no change between Fender and Friesen and Turnbull. Turnbull is a lot further back than usual, though. Something to note. Going down into the start-finish straight, the last turn here, 90 degrees. Oh, we got a car off. That looks to be the 203 car of Turnbull. And the car number 6 of Fender. Oh, no. Looks like Fender had a bit of an incident with the 32 car of Cromer going wide as well. A lot of issues here in the chase. Putting Fender now in P7, Turnbull into P6, and Friesen now running P5 in that Ferrari, hoping to now make a dent on that gap between him and Burr. The gap between Burr, Tada, and Reed is pretty close, so he's hoping to maybe get up there, possibly battle for some podium positions. We'll have to see. Looks like Tada has conceded his P3 position after a great start. Looks like that damage has severely impacted his top speed performance and now has demoted him to P4. It is sad to see that happen, but like I said, aero damage is quite powerful, a quite powerful detriment to your race, I should say. At this circuit, top speed is paramount when it comes to Bathurst, as well as controlling your car down the mountain. But you can definitely feel your top speed max out, and you won't be going nearly as fast as what you'd like when you have that aero damage. Portis, our pole sitter and leader, looking to get the clean sweep so far, led every lap so far, got the pole position and is currently leading the race in P1. Taking a closer look at that car, absolutely flawless, no issues so far. He is running some absolutely rapid laps. Fastest lap goes to Portis as well with a 2:03.3. Close behind him is Reed. I shouldn't say close. Far behind him is Reed. As Reed is going on turn 1 here and down the straight, Portis is already well up into the mountain. Watching a bit of an action point here with Friesen and Turnbull. We also have Fender and Cormer as well. Actually, Cromer is still only still 10 seconds behind. Looks like that is a lapped car behind him. Fender hoping to keep that P7 position. That's a great performance by him, especially with how far back he qualified. Watching a bit of a battle here between Friesen and Turnbull. Tada now 2 seconds behind already Burr, who just made the move recently. The BMW lapped car took out Fender. I gotta say that needs to get sorted out. I know that we've, I hate to say this, I hate to talk bad to any of our drivers, but we really try to keep it as clean as possible. And if you are a back marker, you really need to concede that position maybe a little earlier, especially if that was the backmarker BMW in the 18 car, who is 8 laps down of the lead lap. That's really not what we're trying to go for here. And if you're that far back right now, I know we've got our ZRL admin in that far back, but he's been in the pits. He's taken himself out of the race. The 210 car of Flores into the wall at Forest Elbow. Let's take a look at him there. It looks like he is Flores back on the track. Gonna try to concede his position to Zhang and Olsen behind there. Well, there's some damage between those cars, so. Yep, that is hearing from our chat that indeed the lapped car of the 18 took out Fender there. Fender trying to avoid him. Fender running a really good race as well, and looks like he didn't pick up too much damage from that, but that did impact his race quite substantially. And like I said, when you're that far back, you should really be you know, maybe holding in the pits, maybe driving a bit slower and being incredibly cautious, especially when you're 8 laps down to our folks in the lead, or on the lead lap especially. The last thing you want is for a lapped car to cause an incident like that greatly impacts the race of someone else. Like I said, that's not what we're going for here. May have to have some conversations with the driver at the end of this race, just to make sure that our drivers are running clean. As Candido goes off the track there, hoping to make some space for Turnbull. But I understand that this track is hard sometimes to let drivers by, but when you're going this fast, especially on that portion of the track, you really do not want to see lapped cars taking out folks. So you really do hate to see it. Racing is unfortunate. Driving was really quite respectful, almost 100%. So just a little bit of an unfortunate incident then. So maybe being a little bit too harsh on our back runner there, but we don't want to see that. I don't think anyone wants to see that. Probably not even the back runner there, but something to note, something that we want to clean up. And like I said, understand that this track is incredibly difficult, and that this is probably going to be the most prevalent incidences that we see. But we still try to avoid it as much as possible, as Friesen is now 4 seconds back. We have 2 minutes 30 seconds left in the race, as our leader Portis is now going down the hill in the S's right now. As he goes down the hill, he's probably going to have maybe one more lap. We have 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. So as he comes down the main straight there, that Conrad straight, he's going to be crossing the finish line at about 1 minute 30 some seconds. 30 some seconds, I should say, and that's going to lead one more lap left in the race, because he is going to be on that last lap when 203 car of Turnbull into the wall, back into the pits as well. So close to the end of the race. And that's true, even though it's a bad incident, and I know you can't be perfect. Still something to note. I don't know. I think it's tough. Re-entry is tough. Being unsafe, maybe he was out of control. Maybe there wasn't much we could do. So, gonna have to watch that one after the race. See what the stewards decide. As Fender is promoted back up into P6. As we're on our last lap here, following Friesen. Been following quite a bit here because he was in that battle with Turnbull. But as Turnbull had just made that mistake, we'll go back, watch some of our other drivers, and we'll watch Kenneth Portis, our leader, pole sitter, fastest lapper every single session. We'll follow him on his last lap as he goes down the mountain into the S's, out of the S's, around the dipper, around Forest Elbow, down to the Conrad Straight. Down on the Conrad Straight there. Portis on the last lap, getting a quite substantial lead there. Doing an excellent job in that NSX. Like I said, next season, Portis, we're going to get you out of that thing and racing another car. As we cross the start-finish line here for the final time, Kenneth Portis, King of the Mountain. Everything perfect, clean sweep this race. Portis passing in P1. Alphonse behind him in P22 is going to... He is going to pass next. Reed. Passing now the finish line, P2, with JJ Burr actually fairly close behind in P3. Great performance from those two. Matthias Tada, after some damage, has been able to hold out his P4 performance. Good for him, and Friesen behind P5. Fender now crossing P6. Todd Cromer, great performance in that Porsche. Fastest Porsche out there in P7, keeping it nice and clean. Very happy with that. Jeremy Story now is crossing in the McLaren. P8. Christopher Flores. Last turn here. Going to be crossing in P9. And after a lap 1 incident, Chen Kai Zhang, after the lap 1 incident with a lot of damage on that Ferrari, has been able to make it into the top 10, although I don't know there. I think he crossed the finish line in the top 10. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Olsen passed him there at the end, but I believe Zhang was the one who crossed first. That is our final order for the race. Our our podium performance here tonight. Kenneth Portis, P1, second win of the season. Matthew Reed, P2 in that Lamborghini. And JJ Burr, P3 in that BMW M4. A great performance from a lot of our drivers. Thank you for all of our viewers, for Pew, Noob Speed Racer, Caldera, and JRS Racing, and also Pitch. Sorry you couldn't make it tonight, but hopefully we'll have you next week. What a great race. A lot of carnage on the mountain today. I understand that. A lot of incidences. Going to be penalties after this race. Going to be some incidences to have reviewed. And, that's just the name of racing. We have stewards that will take a look at this race. We'll look to see who's at fault. We'll make that decision. Like I said, we're here to have clean racing, so that's what we'll try to emulate in our penalties if we have any this race. But congratulations to our podium and to everyone who raced. Great race from everyone. Just to double check on our race next week so I can let you guys know. Information on the race. Let's go into our link here to figure out what our calendar is next week. I really should have memorized this, but I did not. So, yeah. We'll let me go in here real quick as we go trying to find the information here, the announcements. All right, bear with me here as I look to find our information. I don't know, having a tough time finding it, but thank you everyone for joining us for this race tonight. Wasn't able to find our race for next week, but please tune in. Next week we have another race, same time, same place. Um, we'll have round 3. I really should just take some time and get this up now to let you guys know so that we can uh, keep you guys in the loop on this season. So if we look here, the races this season, we had a voted track last week, or this week, being Mount Panorama, and next week we have our first of the United States track pack. The American track pack, we have Watkins Glen. I told you how much I loved it, and it should be an absolute blast of a track to drive. We'll see who can squeak out the top performance here next week, 7:45 Central Time, p.m. on Tuesday. We'll have that race at the Glen. First race that we've had at the Glen. Should be a lot of fun. Really excited. I'll be bringing the coverage to you next week. And again, congrats to all of our racers. Congrats to our pole sitter and to our winner, Portis. And as always, if you're interested in joining our community, please like and follow on Twitter or Facebook. And please join our Discord. We're always here to help. Zealous Racing League is here for the drivers. So with that, I will sign off here and let you guys all have a wonderful night. My name has been Shim. My name is Shim, and I've been your commentator tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful night. Have a safe week, and I'll see you all next week. Peace and stay driving.